Welcome to Moment Talk. I'm your host, Shiso Moore. On today's episode, we have a gentleman that is a father, a philanthropist. At his day job, he is an after-school program manager at Edward Harris Jr. Middle School in Elk Grove District. At night, this gentleman built a non-profit organization that gives away shoes. His project is called the Sneaker Giveaway Project. Let's all welcome Mr. Hill Moore. Are you looking for the latest Hmong-inspired menswear? Well, look no further. Shiso's Menswear makes suit accessories, apparels, and you can find them at www.xixomenswear.com. Now, let's get right back to the show. Yo, we are super excited. You know why? Why are we excited, Mr. Hill?
Oh man, because it's Monday, we're alive. We're good. We're happy, man. One more, man.
Can you make a King of the Hill impression?
Oh man.
Because when I think of Hill, I think of King of the Hill too.
Man, I've been getting that since like elementary, man.
This cannot make an impression. Can you make the Vietnamese guy on the King of the Hill? Can't make that impression.
Oh, because I'm Asian, I can make it Vietnamese.
Yeah, that's right.
Man, nah, man, I gotta stay loyal to Hank Hill, man.
All right,
Hank Hill,
all right. This gentleman came from humble beginnings, man. Very humble beginnings. You have like 3 adorable little boys.
Oh man, I appreciate it.
And a beautiful wife and a family that you're raising. A lot of people who may not know him or has followed his work, this guy's given I don't know how many amount of shoes away, sneakers away, which we're gonna get into. Very, very humble, you man.
I appreciate that, man. Just me trying to be a nice guy in the community, man.
You just happen to be another Moore brother from another mother too.
Hey, man, I gotta represent.
Woo woo, right? Let's go way back, man. Let's go way back. What was the very how did this come out? The Sneaker Giveaway Project. I mean, how did that come about, man?
Man, I've told this story so many times, but then I always end up finding something new to add in.
Do tell.
Honestly, man, like I said, I work with kids. I've been working with kids since 2010, 2011, and being a sneakerhead at the same time. I've always had kids ask me on a regular basis, like, man, like Mr. Hill, where'd you get those shoes from? And I don't know, man, I would never tell them just because of how expensive shoes really are and discouraging it is. I don't ever want to tell a kid that like, hey, like I paid $200 some dollars, because one, knowing that like a lot of the kids I work with, like they can't afford it, and they come from families that are less fortunate than I am. And so I would always just say stuff like, just work hard, man. You'll get your own pair one day. And working my way up with the company that I was with, started from the bottom to becoming like the manager, to where like I was able to make a little more living. And I decided one day, I was like, you know what? I get a bunch of kids that ask me all the time like about shoes. I'm just gonna go out and buy some, and out of my own pocket, and just kind of give it away. And my first pair, I gave it away to a student that was he just came from really humble, like just a humble background. He came from a home that was almost broken, but he was one of the nicest kids, one of the most popular kids too. But then he was super humble about it. But then one of the nicest kids I've ever met. And I treated him, I thought of him like my little brother almost, and I gave him a pair of shoes, and I told him that like, look, I'm giving these to you not because like you're one of my students, but because of the fact that like I know you're gonna go somewhere far in life, and I want to be able to support you somehow, because I'm not always gonna be there with you, but then at least when you go on to like another school and so forth, I hope that you still have these shoes and you think about me. And it kind of just sparked the idea of like, man, I should do this more often. And like I said, I ended up buying a bunch of shoes, and then one thing led to another. I gave out more shoes, and eventually I started doing raffles for my students, like good behavior raffles. And just from there on, man, it kind of just sparked the whole idea of like giving away sneakers to students for good behavior, good grades, whatever. The last year.
Hold on. Before we get too excited on in here, we're gonna talk more about this too. But now I want to take even more back, man. Growing up as a kid, did you even had a pair of sneakers? Can you even afford it?
Man,
Because you said some are less fortunate, but did you personally have a nice pair of sneakers growing up?
nah. Honestly, bro, I've always wanted like, cause I grew up in a household of like 7 kids, man, like 7 of us total, and so for me to expect to get like the newest released Jordans, it just was not gonna happen, you know. And honestly, I didn't even know about shoes like that. It was more just like, hey, like I wanted a shoe just to have a shoe, you
How
know.
old were
And
you?
man, when I first got into sneakers,
No, yeah, or just knowing that or like getting the sneakers or wanting a pair of shoes, man.
man, when I first got into sneakers, I was probably like middle school, just because like we had this mall that was like selling like two for $79.99, man, and that was the best deal ever. And I finally got like my first pair of Nikes, and then that was
Ooh, how did that feel? How did it make you feel, man?
it wasn't like the popular Nike, but then it was a pair of Nikes, and it made me feel hectic good about myself, just because the fact that like, oh, I'm part of the trend now, you know?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I get it.
Yeah,
It ain't like the $400, $500, whatever Nike Jordan, whatever it is, but it's that feeling, right? It's that
yeah,
feeling you
yeah.
got when you first got it. Granted, it could be $80 at the time, but still, just that feeling. You were probably what 16, like teenage.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, middle school, so like 13, 14, and then come high school, probably like my junior year. Yeah, my junior year, that's when I first got my first pair of Jordans. And that was it, man. That was it for me. I was like, yo, one way or another, I'm gonna find money or make money or do something and get more Jordans. I ended up by the time I graduated, I ended up with like just two pair of Jordans. But you know, and then come college, man, that financial aid, I was irresponsible with it, man. Man, I'm telling you, I was like a diehard sneakerhead every month. Every week or two, I ended up with like a not a brand new pair, but then like a new pair of shoes for me. And I was just out there just like on a regular basis. So every single day I had like a brand new pair. I had a brand new pair of shoes almost for like every day of the
What?
year. Almost for
No
every day.
way.
Yeah. And at one point I didn't wear the same shoe like until like next month kind of thing.
So you're saying you went through more shoes than you did through underwear. Technically, right?
Hey, I mean, look, the shoes, it was man, it happened, man. Like I said, it was free money technically from the government, and like I said, irresponsible teenage Mr. Hill, like he didn't know what to do with the money, man.
Okay. I can see all sneakerheads out there. They go through more sneakers than they do underwear, man. All right,
Oh
cool.
man,
We can just say it at that.
man, I'm telling you, I know sneakerheads that have shoes for days, man, and I don't know how people do it now. Every time I think about it, like back then, I was like, man, how the heck did I even do that? All that money I could have saved up and stocked up or something.
Now you married now, but when did you meet your wife meet?
Oh man, she's gonna kill me. 2000. We've been together for 10 years now. 10, 11 years. Yeah. Oh, no, my bad, man. Like 2010, 2000.
So hell, with your obsession with sneakers, are you obsessed about your wife, and how'd you meet her, man?
I met my wife in 2010, and yeah, man. Come on, man. My wife and my kids, they come first, man, above everything else. And sneakers a hobby. My wife is not a sneakerhead. You know, I bought sneakers for her. But she doesn't care for shoes like that, man. I mean, of course she cares for her girly shoes, but not sneakers, man. Now I'm hoping the same thing for my kids, that they don't care for sneakers, just because the hassle and like the money you got to put into your shoes, man.
It sounds like an expensive, dirty hobby.
It is,
Expensive
man.
hobby.
It is. I mean, like
All right.
if you do it right, you make yourself some money. If you do it wrong, man, you're spending a lot of money.
All right. No, we're gonna go back to where we started. I mean, you were getting super fired up about it, and now let's fire you up about it, man. No, we're gonna head back to the sneaker giveaway project, man. I mean, you given shoes. How many pair of shoes have you given, man?
Honestly, man, I lost count, man, just because I don't think I need to. I mean, obviously, starting my nonprofit, turning the whole project into a nonprofit. Maybe I should start, you know, keeping track now. But I want to say, I mean, this last year, maybe like 20, and then or actually, no, I take that back. I did 20 in one giveaway by alone. Probably like 60 pairs this year. The year before, probably like around 70.
Where are you getting these shoes from?
All donations. Most of them are donations from the community. I'm a part of a bunch of sneakerhead groups in Sacramento. Not just Sacramento, but just like all throughout. And I get people send me shoes. I've gotten the shoes sent to me from like North Carolina, South Carolina, like everywhere, man. People just send me shoes. Minnesota, and a lot of people from the locals. If not, then like say. But then the thing is, like, I don't get every size. So if I have a teacher hit me up saying like they want to do a giveaway to like a student, and I don't have that size, I use the money that I fundraised. After selling like my merch or like just whatever money that I set aside for my project, and I go on and just kind of buy it from the store.
So as of right now, you would say, I was safe to say 89% of the shoes that you got for free, you given away from free, right? So these shoes are not technically you're out of your money, you bought.
Yeah, I mean, I don't keep none of the shoes. That's against my code of ethics. Everything is given away. I don't just like wrap it up and give it as a present to like a family member or nothing like that. Everything's strictly on my shelf, and it's donation, like strictly donations, especially because I feel like, people gave me these shoes out of trust, and I want to honor that, that these shoes are going to go strictly to a student and only to a student, and especially a student that's in need. Who am I to take a shoe that like another kid could have used? So
I love that, man. I love that. The last one as Hagen Woods Elementary, right? The last project you gave it was about a month ago. Can you tell me about that?
So about a month ago, right before the quarantine, too. That's crazy. Right before the quarantine happened here in Sacramento, my buddy Tom, who is he's like a basketball enthusiast pretty much, but he's a coach. He had somebody reach out to him saying that the Hagenwood Elementary School, they're about to start their basketball season, and but then the community that their school's in, like, they're impacted by just kind of poverty and whatnot, and a lot of students, they come to practice. Some students come to practice with like sandals, man, or they come to practice with shoes that don't even fit them anymore, or just kind of shoes that are breaking apart. And Tom, my friend, he kind of passed the word on saying that, like, this is something that I do, and kind of linked up together. And within a week, we were able to collect over 100-something pairs of shoes and some basketball socks, some gear, and all just donated to like the whole school, man. And the kids got called into the library. It's funny because they all thought they were in trouble. But yeah, they were like, why are we all meeting in the library? Like, what the heck, in the middle of the day? And so they all walked in, and there's just like shoes everywhere, like laid out. And they were just like, dang, like, this is really for us, and it was just the coolest thing ever just to see that, just because like see so many expression at one time of like shock and like, just excitement and happiness, saying that, like, thinking that, like, hey man, like, people really did this for us, And to me, that's just the most powerful thing ever, just because they know, or they get to see that, like, you don't need to be rich, you don't need to be, this rich person in the whole world to be able to get stuff. You just got to work, just got to work hard, have a kind heart, and people will recognize you. And on top of that, there really is good people out there in the world that are here to kind of help out the community. So
that was your latest project. Can you tell me where your early project, like about 1 year ago?
Man, a year ago, it was just me reaching out to schools and trying to see if anybody wants me to give away some shoes, man. Like, straight up.
At that point, some of these shoes are out of your pocket too. Am I right?
Yeah, I mean, even now, some of the shoes are still out of my own pocket. Because honestly, like I said, like, I do fundraising, but I don't get like I don't get like thousands of dollars, But for the most part, a lot of it is donations. I'm trying to find some sort of partnership with, like, local organizations to see if, like, they want to, like, help me out with, like, fundraising. I recently partnered up with a boba place, kind of down the street from, like, the school that I work at, and so every week I give out free boba at a discounted price. And then whenever I do fundraising, like school dances, I sell boba, and I buy the whole thing at like a bulk price, and then I make a little profit on the side, and I use that. So it's not too much coming out of my own pocket now, but honestly, this project I'm highly invested in my project, and so I definitely don't mind if I need to pull anything out of my own pocket or from myself. Like, I don't mind at all.
I know a pretty humble organization, and Shiso's Menway was willing to help you out with that.
Man, I know. What's his name? I can't remember his name, but then when he had mentioned that about if I was a 501c3, and then, like, he has a way to support me, like, my heart dropped. I was like, oh dang. So
Yeah, it's like they got a network, you know.
yeah. I mean, I'm humble, man. I'm humble. People want to help me out, man. Like a year and a half ago, nobody didn't even care. They were just like, man, it's just some guy that wants to give all shoes.
There was a TV show that reached out to you too, and you were noticed for, is it Kelly Clarkson or something?
Are
Are we allowed to say that? If not, I could delete that off.
Man, we gotta delete that off. Man, I'm not
All
allowed
right.
to say that. The producer was like, you guys ain't allowed to say
All right.
that. It's just me out of my own excitement. I'm telling people.
All right. Next thing to say. Let's see here. Shoot, now I lost track where I'm gonna be. All right, so now, Hill, when you're giving shoes away, how do you know who to pick, or do you even pick one, or how do you know? I mean, what are you looking for these kids, or even adults? Even how do you know who to give to?
Man, that's like the $1 million question, man. I get asked that all the time. Honestly, man, at first I didn't really have a standard. It was more just like if somebody reaches out to me saying that they have a student that like that they want to recognize for like good behavior or some sort of role model characteristic. I'm just like, all right, whatever, I'll help you out. And so to me, it's not about me or the shoe. It's really about the person that's trying to recognize the student, and it's just I'm just here just to compliment that. And so a lot of times, like people just reach out to me saying that, hey, like I have a student, or like how we did it at Higginwood. If they have a bunch of students that just need shoes, then we just make it happen. And but I'm definitely trying to go into a way where we have like a set system, and that's definitely been like requested of me like a lot, just because schools in general, they want to have some sort of system that comes in. Because if it's just me giving out like free shoes, then like it's kind of pointless. It's there's no value behind it. And but if it's like me giving out the shoes because they earned it, then yeah. But so because one school I worked at, like they use it as a way to teach empathy. They had students write letters to me about who they thought deserves or could use the shoes. And one of the rules and regulation was that like you can't just pick your friends, or you can't pick yourself, but you can pick somebody that you really recognize that like it has been working hard or can use the shoes. And so
did that happen already?
It did.
It did. Can you give us one, like a letter that you read that kind of like hit you? That kind of pretty much just hit you pretty hard. We don't have to say names or nothing, but just was specific what they said. If you have that, and it could be word for word too. You mentioned about this letter about empathy. Can you give us a overview or a written letter that you actually got from a student?
Yeah, no, definitely. I got one with me right now. I don't know if I can read the name, but then I'll definitely read the rest of the letter. So it was a girl, a fourth grade girl actually. She wrote to me saying, "Dear Mr. Hill, I'm writing about the shoe giveaway. I'm not going to say I deserve them, but then I will say I need them. I only have one pair of shoes, and they won't last that long because they don't really fit, and my mom doesn't have any money to buy me shoes. Right now, she's trying to keep up with the bills. I try my best to be a good student. I always try to be quiet when I'm supposed to, and I try to get all my work done before doing fun stuff. I try to stay out of trouble, so I do all my work and study. Thank you so very much." I know it wasn't about another student, but then this one, yeah. I mean, this wasn't about another student. It was actually about herself, but by itself alone, like she was a student that like was struggling, and even like the people that I go through, like they even agree that like she's one of those students that like is a leader. She stays out of trouble all the time, and it was just like a humbling thing, just because of the fact that these kids, they don't really ask for much, but a guy like me that comes in, with a pair of sneakers, and all of a sudden, everybody goes crazy. But she wrote this letter saying this, and I was kind of like, man, if I could help make your life a little bit easier, like why not? Like who am I to not try?
Man, that is just
yeah,
priceless and emotional all at the same time.
Yeah.
I bet the kid, but she was just smiling ear to ear.
Man, she was in shock. I remember her reaction too. Like when we called her name, she went into shock, and like she came up just kind of like, she looked like she was gonna start crying. And honestly, like that's why I do it for, man. I tell people all the time that like I do it for the smiles, man. And just because of the fact that like these kids, they don't like I said, they don't ask for much, you know, and they do what they're supposed to be doing just to get through the day, and they stay out of trouble and they do their best. And what more can you ask of them, you know? And regardless if I was, you know, on any kind of school site giving out shoes or not, these kids are still do good, you know. But I just, like I said, I just hope I can come in and kind of compliment, you know, whatever school message that the schools are trying to promote, but at the same time make a kid feel better about themselves. So
That's just one story. I know we could go on for hours because you've done this for a couple of years already, but that is just an example. I mean, for those who are listening, I know you have a whole YouTube channel, your whole Facebook fan page that anybody could follow. That will be at the end, you know, ladies and gentlemen, and he's gonna say that out to who wants to follow and get to know more about Mr. Hill.
man,
Now,
yeah.
yeah, you know, so Hill, you're a sneakerhead for quite a minute now, man. You probably got so many pair of shoes, and your wife go nuts that you can't compare. You can't, you know, can't get more pair of shoes. Now, one day I was gonna mean and ask you, man. Can you give me 3 pair of shoes that is like your all time like favorite, man?
Man, honestly, the truth is, like, I don't have a lot of shoes, man. Not anymore, at least. This is the 28-year-old Mr. Hill. He definitely does not have a sneaker collection like how people expect. But then I do have 3 top shoes that I told my wife that if I ever get, I would never collect again, like for myself. And I own 1 so far. And so my first one, my top one overall in general is the Red Octobers Nike Yeezy 2s. I'll never forget when they dropped, man. The first time, like way years ago. And I recently, actually last year, I was able to finally get them. And whew, my face, man. I threw them on right away. I stared at them like every single night. Yeah, my wife is still trying to get me to sell them, but I can't, man. Like they're part 1 of 3. But so like that's my first one. My second one has to be the Nike Air Mags, which are like the Back to the Future. So if anybody's ever seen, you know, Back to the Future, like he has the shoes on it. It's like auto lacing. It laces by itself. The shoes actually came out as a fundraiser for like I forgot what it is, but then for like a good cause pretty much. And obviously I didn't win, but those are definitely on my list, man. And my third one are the Air Jordan 1 Legend of the Summer by Justin Timberlake. He actually has a collab with Michael Jordan, and it's a super sweet shoe. A lot of people don't even know like what they look like, and so those are definitely my top 3, man.
Nice choice, man. Mr. Hill, what does it mean to be a Hmong man?
Oh man, I'm not gonna lie. Like I'm a type of person. I look beyond color and race and everything, man. Like I wish we lived in a world where we just talk about being human, you know. But being a Hmong man, I don't know, man. I think it means to be one, just being genuine, being about your roots, understanding that Hmong people have a history, you know, good or bad. But as a Hmong person, you have to carry that, and as a Hmong man, you definitely have to carry that. You have to carry your last name. You know, that's written on your forehead. You know, and at the same time, it's family, man. Hmong to me means family, man. So, just being a Hmong man, you just got to be all about your family, about your roots and your culture.
Can you give us an advice? Because for those who wants to enter into nonprofit, what you're doing and giving away, can you give us the 18-year-old Mr. Hill advice?
Man, if I could really go back and tell myself something, because when I turned 18, I went straight into college right after high school. Actually, I only had like a week off, and so man, just dedication, man, dedication. A good cause behind everything that you do, especially if you're trying to start a nonprofit. one thing I've learned is like, don't think about the money. Like, it's not about money, man. You got to have good intention behind everything that you do, because the money itself is going to come. But if your intentions aren't right, like, people aren't going to want to support you, you know? And so, and in this day and age and these kind of work, like, you need the support. And so be genuine with it, be straightforward with what you do. And like I said, have good intentions. That's it, man. Good intentions, and regardless of what you do in life, just have good intentions, and just let people know that you're really about what you say. Especially me, like, I'm all about, if I say I'm gonna do something, like, I make it happen. You know, last year, everything I said I was gonna do, I made it happen. Regardless if I had the support or the money or anything like that. Like, I was like, you know, whatever, like, forget it. I'll just do it myself. And yeah, that too, man. Don't hold your breath, man. When you think that you have some sort of partnership or some sort of friendship with somebody, that they're gonna come through and support you. Because I've had people, like, literally, like, dip on me in the last minute, you know. And so yeah, just be ready to work, grind by yourself.
Thanks for the humble advice, Mr. Hill. You're so humble yourself too. You know, last but not least, where can we follow you? Where can we find you on your social media? Can you spit that out?
Yeah, man. My social media, I have an Instagram, which is a sneaker_giveaway_project. My YouTube channel, the Sneaker Giveaway Project, and same thing with my Facebook, man. So if anybody wants to reach out to me, those are definitely the best ways to do so. I'm always checking my stuff. You know, I don't really care for the likes and stuff like that, but then just know that, like, everything I post up, it's out of you know, some way to kind of promote, like, what I'm doing. And at the same time, like I said, I'm all about family and the community, so I post a lot about my own family. And yeah, my website, it's still in the works, but I definitely have a website coming up soon. So
We are very, very appreciative of your time, and thank you so much for coming on and sharing about the project that you're working on. Much love to your family too.
appreciate that, man. I just hope everybody's, you know, in general is healthy, doing good. I know this quarantine is difficult. I know a lot of people are going through it, like, differently, but at the same time, if it matters, you know, my message to everybody is that, like, you know, we're all gonna get through this. Just remember that we gotta get through this together. You know? So stay healthy, wash your hands, and just keep it simple, you guys.
Well, that ends our episode. If you haven't yet, visit our website at www.momenttalk.com or find us on Facebook, Moment Talk. Lastly, if you're listening on us on a podcast from Stitcher or Spotify, Google Play, or iTunes, please give us an honest rating. One last thing, we want to give a shout out to Maya Vu and DJ Peter for allowing us to use their song and beats. Thank you so much. You can check them out on YouTube.